Hello everybody, the lawn gnome is here.
Let's have some fun.
So I know that I'm a little bit late to the party here because of the fact that I just came back from vacation, but first thing, when we actually came back the day after from our trip, was to go see the newest installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther, starring Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Guerrera, Martin Friedman, Andy Serkis, and Michael B. Jordan. And of course, this is the story of the now ever so popular Marvel hero who has been around since the late 1960s, and that of course is T'Challa, King of Wakanda, Black Panther. So, after Civil War, the storyline splits up into two areas. We go see what happens with Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming, but then we see what also happens to King T'Challa, who is now officially taking up the crown because of the fact that he lost his father in Captain America Civil War. And it's all about him trying to figure out how he is going to become this king of this vast technological marvel in the middle of Africa, and how he is going to lead his people and continue the lineage of peace and prosperity. So, I was very excited to see this movie. It looked fantastic on the surface based on what I saw in the trailers, but my real question was exactly how was this movie going to fare amongst the others, because we've had a little bit of a dry spell. We've had exciting Marvel films, but we really haven't had those truly great story-based ones that we haven't seen in quite some time. There was also a lot of politics that were revolving around this one, especially because of the fact that it was the first big-budget film to have almost an entirely all-black cast. So there was a lot of hot-headedness, a lot of controversy, and a lot of words being thrown out from each side. So it was only a matter of time before everyone just had the movie come out and everybody sit down and give their 2 cents. We will talk about the politics at the very end, but let's talk about this movie as a whole. It's very good. It is still, for me, not the best one in the MCU. I still feel that the strongest Marvel film is Captain America, the Winter Soldier, but Black Panther comes pretty darn close. For me, it's definitely in my top 3 to top 5 at this point in time, and here are the reasons as to why. It is beautiful to look at. The production design, the costumes, the sets, the makeup. I'm just gonna say what everyone on YouTube has been saying about this movie. The Oscars have to really remember this movie to give it consideration for all of these amazing awards that it could receive, because it is such a fantastic film to look at. It is absolutely stunning. The acting is absolutely wonderful. This is a very strong cast, including Chadwick Boseman, who I remember from 42, Lupita Nyong'o, who stole my heart in 12 Years a Slave, Denai Guerrera, while I'm not the fan of The Walking Dead, as Okoye, she was such a strong, kick-ass female character. We also had some big surprises like This Is Us as Sterling K. Brown, and Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, as well as Angela Bassett and Forrest Whitaker, and of course Michael B. Jordan as the villain Eric Killmonger. But the two biggest surprises in this film for me were Letitia Wright as Shuri, Black Panther's younger sister. She was a firecracker. I loved that she was such a positive and fun character, as well as Winston Duke, who plays M'Baku, also known as Man-Ape. That's actually his name in the comics. Also, great character, a little bit of fleshed out development for such a minor role as well, and that's one of the strong points from an acting perspective. Even the small roles in this film are given a lot more character development than we would anticipate. I mean, I didn't even know that Daniel Kaluuya was in this film, but as Wakabe, there were so many layers to him, especially with such a small amount of screen time that he got. Also, Everett Ross, who was played by Martin Friedman, for such a minor role that he had in Civil War, to see a little bit more of him in this movie was definitely a real treat. Even great actors like Angela Bassett and Forrest Whitaker, who didn't have much time on screen, you still got enough time of them to actually appreciate their characters. And Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther was definitely a very different lead hero than what we've usually seen in Marvel films. He wasn't so brash, he wasn't trying to hog the spotlight, he was a very quiet, very humble, very modest hero, but that's who Black Panther has always been. So Ryan Coogler, who is the director of the film, who also did a fantastic job, really gave us the Black Panther straight out of the comics. Let's also talk about Michael B. Jordan, because he definitely was a very strong villain. Even Andy Serkis as Ulysses Klaue, who didn't have as much screen time as I thought he would, we still got his purpose, we still understood what his role to play was in this whole MCU, but Michael B. Jordan was definitely an interesting character. He was definitely one of the stronger villains in the MCU. I still don't think that he is as strong as Loki, but I would probably think that he is tied with the Vulture, who was played by Michael Keaton in Spider-Man Homecoming. So we've definitely gotten our share of really strong villains in the last year and a half in the MCU, and I really appreciated Michael B. Jordan's character because Eric Killmonger was in the gray. He wasn't black, he wasn't white. We really did understand him sometimes, and we sympathized with the reasons as to why he was taking the actions that he did, and he gave us also some really great lines in the film. Also, another thing that I really appreciated about this movie was the drama. It was high time that we got another great serious Marvel movie. Yes, it was funny, but the jokes were very well thought out, and they were perfectly scattered throughout the film to give you some really, really great laughs. I actually found myself enjoying the jokes, even though I was someone who had been trashing the jokes, especially when we talk about Thor Ragnarok. But there was enough drama, enough character development, enough story, and enough comedy to keep you entertained along with all of the action and all of the drama. Also, the score is what really steals this film. Ludwig Göransson really dives into the African culture, as does the production design. That's another big positive. It really gives us the full-blown African culture with the colors and the traditions, and of course with the score you have amazing tribal beats, which really captures the whole essence of the fact that this whole movie is taking place on the continent of Africa. I know that I am not someone who knows much about African culture, but I would also say that this is not one of the few things to truly base African culture on, but especially with what it did take from African culture, it's definitely something new to experience and something really interesting to appreciate. But I still believe that this movie is not entirely perfect. I think that one of the weakest points was definitely the action sequences. I thought that the CGI, especially for one of the most expensive Marvel movies ever made, I really feel that a lot of the CGI and a lot of the action sequences looked pretty fake, and I really feel that they could have done a much better job with some of that CGI work and some of those special effects. I also feel that we didn't get enough Black Panther. I mean, I understand this is a rich character development story with a real slow burn to really get an understanding of who T'Challa is and what his purpose in this whole universe is to be, but I still feel that we could have had maybe one more scene with Black Panther as Black Panther, but also, to its credit, we got plenty of that in Captain America Civil War, so now it was time to take a look at the man behind the mask. Also, I do feel that we didn't get enough character development from Eric Killmonger. I mean, I understood his anger, but I still feel that we should have gotten a little bit more from his backstory, because he has so much hatred towards Western white culture, and I don't think that we really got enough of it to truly understand why he has so much hate. I understand to a degree why it was there, but should we gotten a little bit more? Yes. Now, let's also talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is the political side. Yes, there are a lot of strong political messages in this movie, and there was a lot of politics that were revolving around this movie as a whole, because it was one of the first big budget films to include an all-black cast, and there was a lot of black versus white, minority versus elite, talking about this on Twitter, on mainstream media, in the critics as well, but here's the way that I'm gonna look at this. No, this is not the first time that we've gotten a black superhero. We have to also remember the fact that The comic book films were forever changed thanks to Wesley Snipes in Blade. While he wasn't a true hero, he was an anti-hero. But because of the positive reception that this movie received, the comic book movie was no longer the B-rated comic book movie. Another case in point, Todd McFarlane's Spawn, where Michael J. White played the lead role. It was a terrible movie, and I feel that if we would have gotten Spawn around now, we would have gotten a much stronger character and a much better movie. We also had, when the comic book film was starting to take shape, Halle Berry played Aurora Monroe, aka Storm, in the X-Men films. Granted, she didn't have much of a role, alongside Hugh Jackman, of course, and Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen, but she was there as well. So we have gotten our share of strong black superheroes. I guess it was just a matter of time for Black Panther to just find his place in the story. Could we have seen him in Phase 2? Absolutely. But I feel that the way that the directions of the MCU have gone, we just needed the right opportunity to put Black Panther into the movie, and after Civil War, we had that opportune moment, and it was a great opportune moment. I feel that we will get more black superheroes in time. If the DCEU finally gets going, we will definitely see Static Shock and Icon and Rocket and Black Lightning. There are so many great iconic black superheroes to see, as well as other minorities as well, and Black Panther definitely will set the bar in regards to getting some of those characters onto the big screen. But the real way to get it done right is to just have good writers, good directors, and a good story to follow along with it. What I also truly believe that is very important about Black Panther is we now officially got some of these truly great actors to finally get into a big budget film. I have known about almost every single one of them. I love Chadwick Boseman. I love Lupita Nyong'o. And I feel that these actors have not really been seen by the overall movie-going public merely because of the fact that they have been in truly great award-winning and sometimes even Oscar-winning dramas. And the fact that they are now in this great, fun, and exciting action adventure like Black Panther, I'm really hoping that these actors, all of them, old and new, will get more acting roles to play, because you can't deny great acting when you see it, regardless of the color of their skin. And I still believe that Black Panther is one of the stronger Marvel films in the MCU. It is very different, it's got very large spy tones, as opposed to just flat-out action, and a rich character development story. I highly recommend that you see this movie on the big screen. It is a movie that I want to get on DVD, and it is a movie that I do plan to see multiple times. Just like all the other MCU movies, good, bad, or indifferent, this is definitely a good addition. I'm going to be giving Black Panther 3.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please put your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Black Panther. I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.